Welcome to the Operation Game Night podcast. This is a friendly reminder that if you are in the U.S. and have not done your taxes, you should probably get on that sooner rather than later. Tax day is coming up upon us, and for the first time, we will tell you how to spend your tax refund. If you live in the U.S., you pay your taxes, the average tax refund this year is looking like $3,500. Maybe not everyone's getting that. I get it. But we're going to tell you how to use that. There's plenty of sales out there. Come buy a mattress with your tax refund. Come buy a car with your tax refund. We're going to tell you how to blow that entire tax refund, that $3,500, on board games. Yep. It's like a wish list in April. Joining me, as always, the uncertified tax expert, Clayton Gable. Clay, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm definitely uncertified. I am the laziest tax doer ever. Standard deduction all the way for me.
Love it.
Yeah, itemized nothing here.
Did you get a refund this year? Is that too
I
much?
did. Do you want to get that personal? I did get a refund. I think it might have been just below what the 3,500 here is, but okay. This podcast was a problem for me, Travis, because I found out that for $3,500, I can make some pretty sensible board game decisions.
Oh yeah,
that I don't know that I want to relegate to Fantasyland. I think maybe there is room for this in my emergency fund. I can dip into that pot of money.
Okay,
and make this happen because I'm pretty into what I picked out for my $3,500. I'm excited about it, and I don't want it just to be an exercise in budgeting.
Such a tease to go out and do all this research and find the things to add to our wish lists, our ever-growing wish list for board game stuff, and then to just add it to the cart and never think about it again. So maybe we can wring a little bit out of that savings, out of that emergency fund. But real quick, speaking of emergency funds, the podcast needs to build up our emergency funds a little bit. We are on the verge of potentially offering ads for the podcast. And many of you out there might be screaming, no ads. You've been no ads for almost 2 years. Well, guess what? Clay and I have also been footing the bill for this podcast for 2 years. And our wallets we need to build that trust fund up a little bit more to make room for board games. So if you're listening to the podcast on Spotify or Apple or iHeartRadio or whatever, there's a chance that you might see a 30 to 45 second ad in the middle of the run of the podcast. Please be patient with us. If you are absolutely hating it and can't deal with these ads, you're welcome to watch it on YouTube and probably get ads there too. But if you're listening to the audio version, you might hear an ad. It supports us, so we appreciate your patience. If it's really bothering you that much, please reach out to us at Operation Game Night on Instagram. You can leave us a comment, leave us a note, and we are happy to veto all of the ads that we are getting pitched, but it helps us out a little bit. Also, if you're like, hey, why the heck are they doing ads? Why can't they just continue to go ad free and foot this bill? We do have a way to support us that is not listening to ads, and that is to build up our little war chest. And if you go to our Buzzsprout account, just go ahead and Google Operation Game Night Podcast Buzzsprout. Up in the top corner is a little money symbol, and that money symbol is a way to support us. You can do one time, you can do recurring. We currently have one backer.
It's my mom.
It's your mom. It's your mom.
It's my mom.
So thank you, Miss Amy, for helping to foot the bill for the podcast. We appreciate you. But if you are out there listening and you would like to support the podcast, you can go and click on that little money symbol and show some love. Pitch us some clams, and we can put that towards our war chest and help make this podcast a little better. I don't want to start begging for money all the time. This is I'm going to try and make this a one-time thing, hopefully. Yes. But podcasting is expensive, and Clay and I have been doing it grassroots. We've been pulling our bootstraps up and, not getting our $8 coffee every day. And look at us, we're almost millionaires. So
and just paying for streaming services. That's
right.
We do it for you guys. This crystal clear audio comes at a cost.
This podcast brought to you by. Anyways, enough with saving money and earning money. Let's talk about how to spend some money, Clay. You did some research. You looked into your wish list. You have things that you want to buy with your tax refund. Let me hear about them.
Yeah, so I approach this list like any sensible person. I am going to always be buying board games on the regular. So I there's not many games on this list. There's some things, but I made it things that you would only think about buying if you somehow came into $3,500 and you're like, now's my chance to buy the things that on a monthly basis you just don't justify for yourself. You're like, no, that's too much. I put that off. I'll do that later. So that's kind of how I approach this list. There's not going to be a lot of just one-off board games on here. It's going to be some high-ticket items that I've been having my eye on for some time. So the first thing, if we can share my screen, chairs. I have a nice gaming setup in my basement. I have a table. It's large. I'm pretty satisfied with the table situation. I roll out my, boardgametables.com, which is now Allplay, playmat, and it's a nice play space. But the chairs that came with this table, this IKEA table, just are not cutting it. All right. Half the side is a bench, which nobody ever, it's always a fight about who's going to have to sit on the bench. And then the other ones are just dinky little, wooden, cheap IKEA chairs. Okay. And I feel like as gamers, we need better from our gaming seating because you do spend a lot of time doing it. It's part of the job is sitting there playing your game. So I found a pretty reasonable, like office chairs. They're meant to be comfortable. So that's what I'm looking at here. I just found some that, they're like $120 each. I think 6 isn't a reasonable amount for a game table, the size that I have. So you get 3 on each side. This puts me at a, let me do the math here quick. $708 spent to upgrade my seating at my game table. That's my first expenditure.
Can I tell you a life hack?
Yeah, hack me.
So I am always on the lookout for new office chairs because I bought this chair off of Amazon once upon a time. And it is terrible. And I would like to be comfortable when I'm here podcasting or playing games or, doing whatever it is that I do on my computer or at my desk.
Yeah.
If you go on Facebook Marketplace and you look up office chairs, people get rid of some crazy expensive office chairs that they might be moving out of the building or they might be relocating or downsizing or whatever it is. People get rid of some crazy expensive office chairs on Facebook Marketplace for cheap, because they don't actually know what they're getting rid of, and or they don't care that their company is losing out on this, money that they could be making back. So that's my life hack to you. It's better than any sort of gaming chair that you can buy. You'll get some nice ones.
Okay. Yeah. To be fair, I have tried that. I've tried to piecemeal. I've pitched this to Mary. I said, we can just start buying some as I find them on Facebook Marketplace. Okay. That got shot down pretty hard. She's like, we are not having, as if she spends any time down there. She's like, we're not having mismatched chairs down here at this game table.
Yeah.
So I lost that battle. So, it would have to be a bulk set, but it might be possible to find one on there. But yeah, I see where your head's at. I think that's definitely a way to go if you have maybe a partner or no partner to veto such, patchwork chairsmanship.
Okay.
But yeah, so chairs was my first. What do you got?
So I also kind of leaning against buying more games. The games will always be there. There will always be a plethora of games to play. I would love to get to more of the games that I have on my shelf and get them to the table more often. So I am going to try and create an atmosphere that is conducive to people saying, I want to sit around and play games. I want to sit down and relax, create a nice environment. So the first thing that I am going to buy is I want to do some built-in shelves for my games. Kallax has been doing okay for me past couple of years, but they are very full, as you can see. And it would be nice to have some nice built-in ones that fit everything. I can lay them out nicely. I can arrange them how I want. I'm thinking even if it's just long open panels, doesn't have to be the cubes. I I want something like nice and built in that looks professional that I can like organize my games on. And I quoted myself at $500 for that. And that's just saying like, I'm going to buy the materials and I'm just going to put these in myself. I've seen it done. I know how it's done. I can do this. I believe in myself. I saved a little bit of money. $500 built-in shelves. Final answer.
It must be nice to be you because I can't do things myself.
Oh, you can do
so that leads me to the next item on my list, which I'm just paying for my folks there at Allplay. And we're going to go ahead and take a look at the old Jasper shelves that they got.
Okay.
I am trying to remember how to add this up here. The screen. Nice. So yeah, I've got the collector version, 5x5. I'm spending a little more than Travis and his materials and hammer, but it's $1,410 to get the 5x5 Jasper shelf. Now I suspect that this is not going to hold all my games, even as large as it is and as expensive as it is. But right now in my game room, I have a hodgepodge of like different weird shelves that don't match. I literally like decomposed an entertainment center from the previous owners that lived here and have just been using that as shelving for my games. It works. But you know, if I got $3,500, I'm going to go ahead and get some of these nice Jasper shelves because they look good. They got different size holes there. So you can kind of put boxes where they might belong. And so, yeah, I'm not as handy as Travis, so I'm going to have to pay the man to make me my shelves. And I'm sure there's other ones out there, but this is the one I've had my eye on for some time.
I have always wondered about these ones. And this kind of brings me to another point that board game paraphernalia, stuff surrounding the board games, like the storage, like where you play it, like the mats, like that stuff is crazy expensive. Like $1,400 for some shelves that are not that much bigger than Kallax shelves. I imagine that it's pretty similar to my 5x5 that I have behind me. I would 4x4. They're 4x4s. I would be really curious to know if anybody out there has bought these or had experience with them and whether or not they are like quality and worth it. Because if I am investing $1,400 in a shelf that doesn't fit all my games, this thing better be primo and like of very high construction quality and material.
Travis, look at it. It's a walnut finish. You don't know if you saw that. There's a walnut finish.
A walnut finish, which maybe means like press board with some wrapper on it that looks like walnut.
I mean, it strikes me as pretty expensive, but
okay.
This is how, you know, you give Clay a fat stack of cash, and I'm not penny pinching here.
I like it. I like it. Mr. Moneybags.
Mr. Moneybags.
You are like Scrooge McDuck, and you go and you dive into your giant vault full of golden coins, and then you come up and you buy a Jasper shelf. I like it.
Yeah. What else are you going to buy? So I between my two things so far, I'm at like $2,100 of my, and those I think are my biggest items. So we knocked those off the list early.
So on top of game storage, I also have a problem with card storage. I'm not a huge like Magic the Gathering guy. I'm not a huge like, I don't know, Pokemon guy or whatever, but I am a Fantasy Flight guy. I'm a fanboy. Okay. I have so much Marvel Champions and Arkham Horror and Lord of the Rings living card game. I have all these card games that I don't know how to store properly. And I continue to buy these cheap boxes off of Amazon that fit like, 3,200 cards. And I stuff them to the brim full of cards. And they sit there and it's hard to get in and out and manage. I've seen some people online that go and they find like the old Dewey Decimal System in libraries, like the old card filing system that you'd have to rifle through. They find old ones of those and they repurpose them for some card storage. And I love that. I think it's great. They have like the little placard up front where you can like find exactly what you're looking for. You can have it organized by game, by character, by whatever you want. And I think that's really smart. I would love to have one of those. I'm quoting myself $450 for one of those. I'm going to try and find one on like Facebook Marketplace or something, which brings me up to, let's see, $950, Clay.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, you're definitely getting by with some of the frugal options here, and
I'm trying.
This is why you win in life, because you take a little time, willing to do things yourself. You're willing to shop around.
Yeah.
And I'm just out here, finding the biggest company I can pay the most amount of money to.
All right. Make it rain. Let me hear it.
Let's make it rain some more. So the next one, I'm going with something I've wanted for a long, long time. A crokinole board.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I mean, these things are pricey when you get a nice one. So I did a little research. Tracy boards are popular. I've heard of them.
They're like the standard, right?
Travis will probably tell you he's going to buy some wood and make his own for $25. But me, I'm paying Tracy boards, and approximately, it's in Canadian. So I did some conversions.
Okay.
But in American dollars, it looks around $320 for, your nice crokinole board with all the buttons and things. It seems like a must-have in a game room. Just something people can get around. You flip. I played it a couple times. Ton of fun. Definitely tops, like, I don't know, having a pool table or something, because one, they're massive, and two, it's kind of hard to play pool. You can teach people how to play crokinole pretty quick, and everybody's having a good time. It's a fun little team game. So I am stoked about this tax refund giving me a chance to finally pull the trigger on getting a crokinole board.
Now, for the $320, can you get like a custom one, or is that just like bare bones, blank, walnut finish crokinole boards?
Well, let's see.
Okay.
This is it right here. This is the recommended package, which is the black Tracy board, 4 sets of buttons, a button baggie, some playing wax, and a set of holders. So I see nothing custom about that except for the button colors.
Okay.
So if you wanted an Operation Game Night custom crokinole board, I think you're probably going to be paying a little more for that, unless you have the skills to do it yourself.
Maybe we'll think about it. Well, I'm glad you brought this one up. I also had a crokinole board on my list. I just guessed. You did the research. I quoted myself $300. So I'm pretty proud of that. I'm going to sit at $1,200 right now. Crokinole board goes up on the wall. Nice kind of like centerpiece on the wall for a game room. But I'm going a step further. I'm going to get some like board game art from some of my favorite games. They have some really cool stylized ones out there, like Root and, Wonderland's War, Western Legends. I might even get some Scythe. I'm going to get some art that really ties the room together. It's unique. It gets people talking about like, oh, hey, I've played that game before. Or maybe that art gets them interested to play that game or check it out. So I'm going to get some nice art, get it nice and framed. And I quoted myself $300. I know you can get the prints for about $50 each. So I'm going to spend $300 on art, whatever that gets me. Maybe it's 3 prints, put them on the wall around the crokinole board. I am now at $1,500 art. Final answer.
Okay. So that's $1,500 with the crokinole board and the art.
$1,500 for crokinole board, art, and the built-in shelves and the card storage.
Okay. So just to recap mine, I am at Jasper shelves, $1,410, 6 chairs, $700. So that is $2,100. Crokinole board, about $2,400.
Okay.
Is where I'm sitting right now.
You're burning through this money.
I'm burning through it.
Or I quoted myself way too low.
Yeah. Mary always says I've got money burning holes in my wallet all the time. And this game was no different. I spent it swiftly. The next thing I wanted, and it's board game adjacent, but I imagine I'll be using it quite a bit for board gaming, is a 3D printer.
Nice.
So I have, this has been something that has been like a siren song to me for a long time, is seeing people print out little board game inserts and board game doodads, upgraded components with their 3D printers. And I've just, can I justify spending? Well, I don't know how much they are. I've quoted kind of a middle of the road one here. I think, I don't know. It's like $600 maybe.
Yeah.
So maybe, does that sound reasonable?
Yeah. For a middle of the road 3D printer, it's not like hobby quality. You're not going to let your kids play with this thing, but it is functional enough that you can get some nice prints out of it.
Yeah. So that's what I'm going with. I think, but it could be a mistake because it's like a hobby. It's like a sub hobby of a hobby. And I already have a hard enough time engaging with my main hobby. So this could be a bridge too far, but if I have $3,500, I'm willing to take the gamble that I'm going to get some hot little upgrades printed out of this thing.
Oh,
so yeah, 3D printer is going to put me right up close to the $3,000 mark.
Yep. You're right at 3,000. So first, I like this. I think it's a great idea. Tons of people are getting into 3D printing. Yes, it could be its own unique hobby, and you could spend years of your life perfecting how to 3D print stuff. But if you're just doing dividers and storage and maybe a mini here and there where there are like free STLs out there, that's like enough to get your value out of it, I think.
I do too.
Plus, what if you had a hobby that you could just like hit print and then leave it alone, and then you come back and you enjoy the thing after it's done?
That sounds like a nice hobby.
That's not at all what 3D printing is, but
I
guarantee, like, in theory, that's what it is. But like, you have to babysit those things so much, especially when you're new and like don't know what you're doing. They're bound to go haywire, and you're bound to screw up 1,000 different prints. But that's what's fun about it. It's kind of like tinkering to figure out what works.
Well, I won't be too happy if I have to babysit it, but we'll see.
If you have experience with 3D printing board game pieces, let Clay know what he should consider, because he's got some money in his pocket and he's ready.
I do.
I'm at $1,500. We have the art. We've got the shelves. We've got some card storage. We've got a nice crokinole board on the wall. I think I'm going to do some like accent lights for the shelves. I want these shelves to pop and be the center point of the room. So I'm going to, those like LED strips, they're pretty inexpensive. You can get them for like $100. I'm just going to take the time to set up some nice LED strips in the shelves, showcase the hobby that I love, showcase the games that I work so hard to collect. I want something that is going to draw the eye when you walk into the game room. Boom, you got nice shelves with lights on the games, ready to play. $100, that puts me at $1,600.
I'm like, we're going to be here all night till you spend all your money.
I got
Next thing you're going to do, you're going to be like, all right, I'm going to buy a bag of dum-dums because I always want dum-dums.
No. Let me go one more time.
Go again. I
have a board game table with all the bells and whistles and a full set of comfy chairs. I've got, I quoted $1,500 for this. So I'm at 3,000 now. Question mark.
Puts us pretty even.
Yeah. So I'm going table with all the bells and whistles, the cup holders, the dividers, the nice little trays that pop out that you can like put your player boards and stuff on, the nice neoprene mat on the middle. Maybe I'll even run some LED lights around the inside of my table to really make it pop. Some nice like overlays in case you want to actually use it as a table. $1,500 table with all the bells and whistles, maybe a set of chairs. There you go. Final answer. $3,000. I'm at it.
All right. There we go. That's a big leap. Can you just walk me through what your current game, do you have a game area or are you just playing in your kitchen? Which is fine. I just don't, I haven't seen your new place. Your behind you looks pretty sexy, but I don't know. You don't play games in your podcast studio.
Very rarely do I play games in this room. If I do, they're solo and they're on the mat in front of me. I got like a nice desk mat that's kind of like as Jared would call it, the mouse pad.
Yeah.
This one has all sorts of like Excel shortcuts and stuff on it, which I really like. Not really conducive to gaming here in the studio / office. So I like to roll out my Allplay board game tables mat on the kitchen table or a dining room table. Dining room is for big games. Kitchen table is like a small circle one. So we play like stuff like Iliad and Icar, and like that size of game is great for the kitchen table. But yeah, they don't feel like they're conducive to gaming. and there's lots of distractions around while we're playing games there, I'd like to have like a nice dedicated space that is like just for board gaming, plus maybe a couple extra friends to like come over and play games.
Yeah, those are always good. You deserve that, Travis.
I deserve some friends.
You deserve friends and maybe a space to play with them. All right.
Give me the last one.
Last one. I got 3 left, but I can rattle through the last 3 right now. Number 1. I want to get one game that just felt like a little bit of a Gucci game that I might hesitate. I don't usually hesitate to treat myself if there's a game I really want, but this one was, I let it pass me by and I regret it.
Okay.
Lord of the Rings, The Confrontation went through Game Found. Now I'm not talking obviously the ultimate collector's ones like $2,000 by itself. So I would just want to, spend the $120 on the premium deluxe version of that game. It's Knizia. It's Lord of the Rings. It's a simple, like 2-player strategy game.
Yep.
I think it's timeless, probably. I don't know. I've never played it, but I'm willing to take a flyer on it with my remaining $500. So that's $120. My last real thing is, I think it's about time. Dune Imperium's been in my top 3 games of all time ever since I first played it. So I'm getting the deluxe upgrade for that, which is another $60. Don't know if on a normal month I would, eat into my board game budget by just buying the deluxe upgrade pack for Dune Imperium, but tax refund money, I'm doing it. So that's another one.
What comes in that like upgrade pack?
It's just like minis and fancy stuff. So yeah, instead of your wooden whatevers,
nice
you get all the plastic
resource tokens and stuff.
Yeah. I got it. I got it up here. Let's just look at it real quick. Let's just look at that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's pretty.
You got some nice minis. Got a nice metal coin. It looks like.
Yeah.
Okay, I can get behind that.
Yeah, I'm there with it. So that's another $60. And then, I was going to say, I like to support small business. So I'm taking my last $250 and I'm going to the local board game store like a king. And I'm just putting that $250 aside to just support small business.
Okay.
And go shopping, basically. Nothing feels better to me than walking into a board game store with a pocket full of cash to spend money. I always like to walk around, see what's there, and just buy a few games with the last $250. So that's how I'm spending my whole tax return. I got the chairs for $708, 3D printer for $600, Jasper shelves $1,410. I'm starting to regret that because you seem to have had a lot of success with other things a lot cheaper. But I'm standing by it. I'm getting Lord of the Rings, The Confrontation, the premium edition, getting my Dune Imperium deluxe upgrades, and a crokinole board.
I like it.
And then I'm shopping.
Clayton be shopping. I like it.
Yep.
Okay, so my last and final thing. I'm at $3,000 right now. I have been kind of wringing my hands about this, buying even without a tax refund. But once upon a time, when we were still young, energetic podcast hosts, just coming on the scene, we got quotes for some nice like LED/neon signs of the Operation Game Night logo, as seen over here above Clayton's head in the corner. It's over there for me. Anyways. So we got a quote for these, and they were like, I don't know, $450 or something crazy like that. I want to get one of those still. We're like 2 years in. I think it's time. We deserve it, and I think we do. If you're listening to this show and you want to go ahead and buy us some nice LED neon signs that look like the Operation Game Night logo, then we would happily accept those gifts. So that's what I'm spending the rest of my money on. I think it would really make the space feel primo to sit down and play games. It doesn't have to be super bright and in your face, not like the, St. Pauli's girl from The Office. But if it's nice and lit up, it gives a nice glow. You got the crokinole board, the nice art, the lights with the shelves, primo table, nice comfy chairs. You're telling me that you won't sit there and play games all day, all night, forever.
I'm there.
I would live in that space. I would live in that space.
I just fantasized about it, and it was you and me and Jared.
Wow.
And maybe even some of our friends from the pod. And, we're all glowing under the light of that Operation Game Night sign. And we're sitting in those comfy chairs. Oh, my gosh. And your shelves that you built with your own hands are just lording over us.
Falling apart. My God. They're all uneven.
I'm there, Travis.
I love it. Or better yet, if I have a nice long gaming table, what if you got one of those pool table hanging lights with the big shade that kind of hangs off that's all stylized, and you put the Operation Game Night logo on that?
That's bad.
That would be incredible.
Yeah.
Dang. Wow. Maybe someday. But if you are out there and you're like, wow, these guys are terrible at spending money, and you have an idea on how you would spend your tax refund, doesn't even have to be a real refund. Maybe it's just a hypothetical one like we have. Tell us how you would spend that refund. Again, thank you for continuing to support the podcast. Thank you for supporting by listening to ads. If you want to support us, you can go to the Buzzsprout website. Just Google search it. You'll find it. And let us know what we can do better. Leave us a comment. Leave us a rating. Let us know how we can improve the podcast to make this show as best as possible, even if that involves spending some of our tax refund on you, the listener. Please let us know. For Operation Game Night, I have been Travis. He has been Clay. This has been how to inappropriately spend all your tax refund on board games, and we are out.